week up at the lodge this week. It's the annual Possum Lake Sausage Carnival. Send in your homemade sausage, bratwurst or knockwurst or whatever, and the judges decide who has the best wurst. We enter it every year, but the guys at Caribou Lodge always beat the stuffing out of us. But I got a feeling that this year is our year.
Well, I got the sausage casing.
Wow. That's a pretty big wad of tubing you got there. Where'd you get that?
Well, you know, I know a guy who works at the experimental farm.
How did that experiment go, do you think?
I have no idea, Red, because, you know, when a guy hands you 50 foot of intestine on a silver platter, you don't want to ask questions.
No, you don't look a gift horse in the mouth, huh?
You're not even close.
All right, fine. Like I'm saying, our chances of winning the sausage carnival are better than ever.
Yeah, and the winner gets his picture in the paper, posed tastefully beside his sausage, plus a year's supply of bicarbonate of soda.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And you get to wear the sausage crown, which is, it's a hat shaped like a crown covered with sausage. I probably figured that one out already.
We haven't won yet.
No, I know. And we better get packing. Gonna take a fair whack of mystery meat to stuff that puppy in.
No guts, no glory.
Oh, man. We lost.
We're lucky to be alive.
Well, I don't know. That's too close to call.
What happened exactly? It's all a blur.
Well, do you remember how we laid the sausage out on the grills, all those barbecues set up end to end?
That's what, yeah, I remember that part, and I remember the smell of it cooking.
Everybody in the Tri-County area remembers the smell. They thought the pulp mill had reopened. Remember how the pressure built up inside the sausage?
Yeah. Yeah, it got real big, just like the Hindenburg.
That's right. Then you went and poked a hole in the end with that fork.
Oh, the humanity.
Apparently, we didn't get the interior of the sausage as sterile as it needs to be. Getting the methane buildup in there. Those of you in a college fraternity know that methane is flammable.
I remember a hot blast of fetid air, and then something went off like a firecracker.
More of a cruise missile, it really did. We still don't know where it came down.
Boy, I was lucky it arced over the crowd.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people could have been seriously sausaged.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, it was the worst. Oh, it's meeting time.
Yeah, you go ahead, wiener boy. So if my wife is watching, I'll be coming straight home after the meeting. And it turns out that all those things you said about men and sausages are absolutely correct, and let's just leave it there. And to the rest of you, thanks for watching. On behalf of myself and the whole gang up here at Possum Lodge, keep your stick on the ice. Up the lodge this week. We just won the Possum Lake Fishing Derby. We've never done that before. Usually the guys at Caribou Lodge beat us with some underhanded trick, but they didn't do so well this year, because none of their outboards would run. Yeah, I heard somebody poured sugar into their gas tanks. Victory is sweet.
Oh, Uncle Red, wait till you hear this.
Oh, yeah? What happened? You get a scholarship to ballet school?
No, I did not. No. We have been challenged to a fishing derby by another lodge.
Wow.
Yeah, the grand prize is $10,000.
Holy cow, boy. We could really fix this place up with $10,000.
You could just tear it down, start all over.
Oh, Harold, and lose the history, the memories, and the ambiance?
Hopefully.
Well, who's this lodge that thinks they can take us on, Harold?
Oh, yeah, it's, Badger Lodge. No, no!
What?
Oh, no, yeah, okay. Badger Lodge, they're Americans.
Well, what difference does that make?
Well, the Americans are best at everything.
Says who?
They do. No, Uncle Red, they spend more on fishing gear than we do on missiles.
Harold, you know, they're just people. They don't know Possum Lake, they don't know Canadian fish, and they don't know us.
Uncle Red, we can't beat the odds. I mean, California has the same population as Canada.
Yeah, but they're Californians. Huh? You bring them up here in February, I mean, it's game over.
No, Uncle Red, Americans are they have 10 times everything. They have 10 times the population, 10 times the economy. Everything we have, they have 10 of.
Well, that means they got 10 Harolds. They're dead in the water. Some men are so competitive, even with dumb things like barbecue grills. They get those big units with the extra side burners and the rotisserie and the wet bar. Well, let's show them a thing or two, huh? Here's a way to build your own mega grill using something everybody has right in their own backyard. A previously enjoyed automobile. Oh, sure, you have to make a few alterations to the vehicle. But you know, the truly worthwhile things in life are always worth a little extra effort. Now, first you want to take off the spark plugs, but leave them hooked up to the ignition wire. And then you want to disconnect the fuel line from the carburetor. Now, you got to take the engine out of her. Shouldn't be that hard, especially if the vehicle's been sitting there for a while. Okay, you mount the fuel line on the top there, then you run your spark plugs up through the side of the unit, and then you put the whole deal down into the cavity where the engine used to be. Kind of like a heart transplant. Although I believe with a heart transplant, they clean the shoes off first. All right. Now we need something to use as a grill. How about the grill? Okay, I think we're all ready to start barbecuing here. First thing you want to do, pump the gas a few times, soak the charcoal. Now you just start her up. Okay, we're all set to grill up some delicious steaks. You know, if salad is so good for you, how come you can't barbecue it? Can you answer me that? I didn't think so. So here I am, sitting in my deluxe barbecue grill, out of the rain, sitting in plush comfort, got the FM AM stereo if I so choose. What's that you say? How do I add my favorite steak sauce? Well, hey, isn't that what windshield washers are for? And just spread it around with the wiper. And it's just that easy. So remember, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. This isn't a barbecue, it's a carbecue. Gets over 50 meals to a gallon. Even more if I goose it. When you're a man, there's nothing better than having a big steak barbecue. So Bill had brought the barbecue and went on, and Mike was there, and there's Walter behind the coolers. And you gotta have the beverages, you know, and actually I think the meat was in there. So Bill's, okay, the barbecue's not in pristine condition, but no problem, get that lid off one way, there we go. And wait, no, you don't need charcoal. This is a propane, it's a propane unit. You know, it's not new, but it's still good. No, I'm wrong. It is a charcoal barbecue. So Bill's, and then the bottom come right, oh boy. Bottom come right out of her, and all right, no, that's good. And meanwhile, they're just set those down on that table doesn't look strong enough to me, but I get the barbecue starter from Mike. And I probably should have put this on myself, but you know, foolishly, Bill likes to take over, and he likes to put things in. And I probably overdid her a little, so I'm just stepping back a little. Meanwhile, Walter and Mike are getting out the steak. Got some beautiful steaks there, and they kind of go up. That's like we got the small, we got the medium, and then they eventually get to the large, which to me looked like that picture in Health of a couple of sets of lungs. Man, that looks good. Meanwhile, he's put the whole, okay, now Bill, I'm not sure you should just throw, there's a lot of gas, Bill, there's a lot of gas. I think maybe you should just, he's not worried. And now, okay, he thinks that's fine, but you know what? He's not looking at the origin, actually, of the flame. So what do you do now, Bill? Mr. Smarty? Oh. All right, good. No, that works. Okay. Meanwhile, we got all the meat laid out. Well, you know, once you heat up the barbecue, you might as well cook for the whole season. And odd thing about having meat, it seems to draw the flies. And just, I don't know, you're out there for 2 minutes and suddenly you got the flies all over. We have a lot of flies in our area. I think it's actually the provincial bird. And trying to get the flies out of there. And then Bill slapped, that was a mistake there. And Mike, he had been a drummer with Trooper in the early days. So he got, and then again, he snagged one there. And then Walter had the bugger. I said, you know, that's going to affect the taste. And he goes, yeah, it is. So, but luckily Bill had brought the bug light, which apparently attracts the flies. He plugged that in, and the flies, they started just migrating right over there, which is good. But you know what, those bug lights, they can only handle so many flies, and then they kind of... So that was a problem. Now the flies are all coming back, and so they're starting to get on our bodies and stuff. So Mike grabs a chop and starts chopping, I guess you could say. Thing about flies is, individually they're not that strong. When you get a group of them together, and they have a fair amount of lift on them, and they can actually take a steak right out of your hand. If you're not, hang on, you're losing them. Oh man! And what happened next, I really can't describe. I cannot erase the memory of all of our great steaks levitating in front of our very eyes. If you see these flying over your house, please call the lodge. Well, Bill's response to losing our doctor was to take this week and show you how to do some barbecuing, to eat more healthy foods. See what's happening here? I could tell Bill that maybe he's doing things wrong and that he just hasn't noticed that perhaps the barbecue is left, but there's really no point in that. Let's just let Bill just see it through. I'm sure that he'll come to the conclusion eventually that he is maybe doing something that is not totally correct. Maybe an eye doctor would be in order here, Bill. Oh, yeah. And then maybe some behavior therapy. All right, here it is. Good old Bill and his barbecue special. Tenderized the meat a little bit there and got the weenies out. That's them for sure right there. And he's gonna do some barbecue. I don't think Bill's done any barbecuing for a while. He put the briquettes in there and he puts the starter on there, and I'm thinking, boy, you can tell when a fella hasn't barbecued for a while. And he has his own special, what is that? 10W30 in case we have a cold snap. Throws that on there, and he's even got the paraffin-soaked nitro fires. The reason I knew he hadn't barbecued for a while is that this is actually a propane barbecue, and you know that stuff. You just turn the gas on there, and then there's, I'm trying to explain, there's some controls on the side, and actually you got the 2 burners, so you can control either burner anyway. So Bill he's more of a doer than a thinker. Boy, that propane's got a, what? Well, no, turn it off at the tank, Bill. You just turn that, all right, oh no, Bill, spark. Later that day, Bill and I are wondering where the barbecue is. Oh, there's the table. And there's weenies as far as the eye can see now. Stuff's dropping out of the sky. What's that? What is that? A strange bird-like thing dropping. Oh no, it's a barbecue lid. All right, we got pretty everything back. Oh boy. Oh, that's rare. Well, certainly not well done anyway. Yeah. This week on Handyman Corner, we're going to show you something you can do with an old broken down barbecue. Now, I've been saving this beauty, hoping that it would eventually have value as an antique, but apparently the market for rusty metal appliances covered with bits of burnt meat has gone a little soft on us. Now, I suppose a bunch of you are saying, hey, Red, why don't you just throw the darn thing in the lake? Or, who cares? Or, what else is on? That'll be your wife talking, probably. Well, the truth is, if you do throw one of these in the lake, within a couple of days, you get all the grease and fat coming up on shore there, and then the propane tank will cut loose and shoot right up through the bottom of that old lap straight canoe that's been up here at the lodge since before I started coming. Well, I should say that's what could happen. But the funny thing is, we are actually going to throw this barbecue into the lake, but with ourselves attached to it. Because we're going to turn this propane barbecue into a full set of scuba gear. All right, step one. Disassemble the unit into its individual components. Yeah. Oxidation is a wonderful thing, isn't it? All right, step two, disconnect the propane tank. Now, the connector on these units is left-hand thread, so to loosen them, you got to turn them to the right. You can loosen them by turning them to the left if you're the size of Moose Thompson, but it won't ever go back together again. And once you got the hose out of there, you might just want to abandon the project, try something else, maybe turn the propane tank into, say, a party-sized cigarette lighter, or a propane-powered lawn roller. Or I know it'd be kind of fun. You just throw the whole tank into a smoldering campfire for an exciting game of Let's Surprise the Boy Scouts. But for our purposes, we're going to drain the gas out of there and so we can use it for our scuba gear. Well, I'll just move this aside till we get all the gas out of her. You don't want to be 20,000 major leagues under the sea and suck in a lungful of propane. Instant headache there, I'll tell you. Now, you want to save these grills. You can make yourself a dandy little shark cage. Not big enough for your whole body, but certainly big enough to protect whatever it is you care about. The burner you don't really need. Chuck that. But you want to save the hose, and you want to save the heat controls, because these become your air regulators. One for you, one for your buddy. And you got that fat jar that hangs down underneath the barbecue. Hang on to that. That's going to become your diving mask. Boy, you can get a lot of fat out of 4 strips of bacon, can't you? If you squeeze them right. Anyway, I think that's pretty well everything we need. Sure as heck don't need the spark igniter. Not going to be able to start a fire underwater. Well, I guess that tank will be empty now. Wow, we got lucky there. The propane tank landed in town, which is where I had to go anyway to get her filled up with air at the gas station. Now, breathing this air might make you a little sleepy, because it's tire air. Always time for humor at the lodge. Now, you're going to need something to put on your feet to help you move along in the water. How about this? They're flippers, aren't they? It's tire air. Okay, so what you got to do is you got to put the tank on your back, the flippers on your feet, and the jar on your fat face, or the fat jar on your face. And they're going to do all these jobs using the handyman secret weapon, duct tape. Now, this is probably going to take me a while, so why don't we get on with the show, and we can come back when I got her all built. Once in a blue moon, the world gives you credit, huh? Happens to me once every year. You know, on that special garbage day where people can put out anything they want of any size and the garbage collectors have to take it? Well, that's the day everybody wishes they had a van like mine. Take a look at this. Huh? What do you see here? Huh? Bathtubs, taps, showers, nozzles, drains, U-joints. Now, I suppose you could use this stuff to put a guest bathroom in your house. What'll that get you? Yes. I look at this stuff and I see cooking over charcoal. That's right, a barbecue. One tub for the base, one for the barbecue, and one for the lid. Now all we gotta do is add a hinge on there, so the lid will open up this way. Okay, we could bolt hinges on there, but that would involve probably 9 hours of work plus stealing a drill. Instead, I recommend the handyman secret weapon, duct tape. There we go. Give her a try here. Oh, man. I'll tell you, you raise that up and down a few times cooking a steak, you're going to work up an appetite. Something to hold her open here. Oh, there we go. The shower curtain rod ought to do her. There we go. All right, now, what is the most important step when you're building a bathycu? Hey, before you fire her up, you really want to get the bath mat out of there. Otherwise, you could get yourself a bad case of athlete's food. Okay, now the big question. Do we go gas? Do we go charcoal? Charcoal's real good, you know, because when you got it all done, you just sweep the ashes right down the drain. But today, we're going to go top drawer. We're going to build a bathycu that's going to be a gas grill. Isn't that something? Huh? Then we got the copper pipes there carrying the gas, and we got shower nozzles as burners. All right, now they're all hooked up to our propane unit here. Buy in bulk. You're going to save big, eh? Well, I guess it's time to fire her up, or in this case, hit the showers. Hang on, I could use a little extra coating of duct tape. There we go, there we go. That's fine. Tell you another feature of this unit. It's got the electric sparker on it. Now I've added a few features to her there. I got the cheese slices all ready to go. You want to limit your guests, maybe 2 slices apiece on that. And then we got the shower rack here with our shampoo bottles, but I've emptied them out, and I put the ketchup in this one, and I put the mustard in this unit, and I got the special bathycu sauce in here. And here's an extra little feature I added. A little cold water tap there hooked into a cold water shower, kind of deal with the flare-ups, you know, kind of keep the flames down in there, because I'll tell you something, nothing takes the fire out of your loin chops like a cold shower. All right, you're asking what's cooking? Well, come take a look. Look at that. Is that beautiful or what? You got the hot dogs on there, and over in here, of course, we got our chicken. By golly, I think you know everybody loves a burger, don't they, huh? Either plain or, hey, let's go first class here. Throw a hunk of cheese on there. There you go. Oh, we got our condiments in this area here, and I'll tell you something. You got to remember, the women don't find you handsome. They should at least find you handy. Look at that. There's an American standard. You know, there have been a lot of great inventions over the last 100 years. Splitting of the atom, polio vaccine, but the greatest one has to be the drive-through restaurant, eh? Man, if I could have told my great-grandfather that the day would come where they could stuff a hot meal into a paper bag and toss it through your car window, he'd just shake his head. But I'm thinking it's maybe time to take her to the next level, eh? Instead of a drive-through restaurant where you have to go to where the food is, which can be humiliating if you're, say, on foot or, worse still, riding a bicycle, I suggest a drive-to restaurant where the food actually drives to where you are. And I'm not just talking about plain old delivery where all you get is soggy fries and lukewarm attitude. I mean an actual kitchen on wheels. It's $1 million idea that you can make out of a $40 car. Now, since we're talking takeout, we got to start by taking out a few things, like these seats. Now, if you end up using a luxury vehicle with the heated cushions, you might think about keeping them. Make great bun warmers. Okay, now that the seats are gone, the only other thing I have to lose is the roof. If you don't count my credibility, and I'm sure you don't. Okay, I just gotta get this out of the wind here. Okay. Not quite sure what happened there. I must have blacked out. Oh, the roof is missing. Oh, there it is. Okay, now the next step is to install our grill here. It only makes sense to be cooking our burgers on a barbecue, but we're gonna actually tie it into the fuel line of the car. I'm not gonna need this propane tank. It looked empty. Okay, the barbecue's gonna take care of the burgers and hot dogs, but for the French fries, I need something that'll hold a lot more grease. And I don't mean Harold's comb. How about the tank from an old oil furnace, huh? And the beauty of these babies is the longer she's been there, the easier it is to detach. Okay, now, for your French fries, you really want to have those pre-cut before you hit the road. You could slice them by hand, but for a job this big, I prefer something a little faster. Like, say, a wood chipper. cycled the engine oil through the fryer, so the same oil that keeps the engine cool keeps the fryer hot. I'll tell you something. If you want those golden fries everybody loves, 10W30. We've even got these fryer baskets, which you can get from any grocery store. Attention shoppers, your fries are ready. Meanwhile, up front, our burgers are piping hot and perfectly broiled, all ready for our prep station. And while you're at it, why not fill the car radiator with hot coffee and then hook it up to a tap mounted right here on the dashboard, huh? Oh, yeah. Okay, I think I may have just answered my own question there. So remember, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Now, if you'll excuse me, I got a hungry town to feed.